You've worked late for 6 months. You ask for a raise, and your boss slides the paperwork back with a flat denial. Or maybe a client suddenly pushes back hard on your standard pricing. In these tense, everyday standoffs, most of us default to one of three losing strategies. We argue the facts, we awkwardly offer to compromise, or we just walk away entirely. Chris Voss spent 2 decades dealing with people who refused to compromise. As the FBI's lead international kidnapping negotiator, he discovered that the exact same tactics used to talk armed fugitives out of bank vaults work on stubborn bosses and difficult clients. Traditional business schools teach that negotiation is a rational, logical debate over numbers. The FBI proved that human beings are rarely rational. Negotiation is an exercise in emotional discovery. Approaching these conflicts as a search for emotional drivers rather than a logical war allows you to guide the other person to your preferred outcome without a single argument. The core of the FBI toolkit is tactical empathy. This is the ability to recognize the perspective of your counterpart and vocalize that recognition. You aren't doing this to be nice. You are doing it to gather actionable intelligence and gain leverage. To extract that intelligence without making the other person defend critical words of your counterpart's sentence, delivered with an inquisitive, upward tone. If your boss rejects your raise by saying, "I can't approve this because management is incredibly strict right now," you don't argue about your performance. You just look at them and ask, "Management is strict?" And then you wait in total silence. Those 3 words trigger a biological reflex. We fear what's different and are drawn to what's similar. By reflecting their exact words back to them, you prompt your counterpart to elaborate, revealing their hidden constraints and thought processes without feeling interrogated. You turn a confrontational roadblock into an open door, keeping them talking until they inadvertently negotiate against themselves. When dealing with negative emotions, you use a tool called labeling. Labeling means validating someone's emotion by giving it a verbal name, typically starting with a phrase like, "It seems like," or "It sounds like." If a client is aggressively pushing back on a proposal, you state the obvious. It seems like cost is your biggest concern here. Acknowledging the fear diffuses it, pulling them out of their defensive posture. You can preemptively neutralize negativity with an advanced label called the accusation audit. This requires you to explicitly list every terrible thing your counterpart could possibly say about you right at the start of the conversation. Imagine a tense family dispute over a weekend trip. If you start by saying, "You probably think I am being totally selfish and that I don't care about your schedule," the natural human response is for your spouse to interrupt and defend you. They will actually say, "Well, you aren't totally selfish." By proactively voicing the worst-case accusations, you rob your counterpart of their ammunition and steer the dynamic toward collaboration. Most sales training obsesses over getting the other person to say yes, but people give counterfeit yeses all the time just to make you go away. The word no, on the other hand, makes people feel safe. It protects their autonomy. If a vendor or colleague is ignoring your messages, you can use the safety of no to revive the conversation. Write an email with a single sentence. "Have you given up on this project?" and hit send. The immediate impulse is to reply, "No, we haven't given up. We've just been bogged down." Once they are engaged, you shape the terms of the deal using calibrated questions. These are open-ended questions that start with how or what. You avoid the word why because why always sounds like an accusation. If a supplier demands an unreasonable advance payment, you don't say, "I won't pay that." You look at them and ask, "How am I supposed to do that?" This question grants your counterpart the illusion of control. They feel powerful because they are the one with the answers, while you quietly force them to expend their own energy solving your problem. The ultimate goal of any negotiation is to find a black swan. A black swan is a hidden piece of information, a secret motivation, a personal constraint, or a structural vulnerability that completely flips the leverage in your favor once discovered. You don't find black swans by making demands. You uncover them by patiently deploying your toolkit, listening, mirroring, labeling, and asking calibrated questions. You can start building these reflexes today with 3 simple habits. First, practice mirroring in casual conversations with your friends. Second, replace your why questions with how questions. And third, when tensions rise, Slow down and drop your pitch into a calm, soothing, late-night FM DJ voice. A successful negotiation is a process of mutual discovery. It is about understanding the worldview of the person across the table so thoroughly that their objections dissolve. By mastering these psychological tools, you move past the fear of conflict. You gain the confidence to uncover the real stakes, hold your ground, and ensure you never have to split the difference again.